My name is Kenneth Bird. My company is Crystal Edge Technology Screens. Today we're going to be doing a demonstration on how the gray screens stack up to much darker screens. Now, what I find and some of the demonstrations that I see people doing with their screen paints to be a bit disturbing, and I'll tell you why. Because they have misled their customers, making them believe that a gray screen would have the exact same ability as a black screen or any darker screen, whether it be gunmetal or so forth, and it can produce the same contrast levels as equal. Also, they have misled their customers on making them believe that the screens can produce colors equal to darker screens, and that's not true. Darker screens produce brighter and much more vivid colors. They also do produce, our technology does, I can't speak for others. They also produce outstanding contrast levels, something that gray screens do struggle with. Now, for them to say that, okay, well, we produce higher white levels, yeah, that's just a given, that any screen that's going to be lighter than a black screen or darker gray screen or darker screen is going to have the ability to produce a higher white level. As if somebody were to say that, okay, I have a white screens are going to produce the highest white level. Well, guess what? A white screen is going to produce a higher white level, number one, than the black screen, and definitely than the gray screen. Gray screen is not going to be able to produce a higher white level than a white screen. So in the category of black screens, they produce the 100% contrast levels. This screen can produce a higher contrast level than the gunmetal, even though the gunmetal is a very dark screen, and the magenta, which is behind me, which is the purple screen, dark purple, because black being the darkest color, has the ability to produce 100% contrast levels. Where the gray screen is kind of stuck in a limbo. Can't produce white levels higher than a white screen, can't produce high contrast level, black levels higher than a black screen. So they're kind of stuck in between. This is a more like what they call a mid-level screen. It is a cheaper screen. It's not cheaper than white, but it's next to white. Okay, so in this demonstration, we have our screen paint, along with his products. Because the reason why we just have his products, because no one else makes these accusations. No one else makes these claims that their gray screen paints are producing contrast levels as dark as black screens. No one says that. He's the only one that actually misleads people to make them believe that, hey, look, my screen paint can produce a higher contrast level or can produce a contrast level next to a black screen. And that's not true at all. Now, keep in mind, the gray screen paint we have over here, which is Digital One Crystal, the Throwback 3.0, was able to produce a better contrast and slightly better color than his product with no problem whatsoever. That being the case, being a product that we had from 8 years back was able to do this, so much more the product we had before us will be able to outperform his screen due to the fact that this is a newer model technology. Okay, so what are the things he doesn't explain to you? Some things I've seen in the demonstrations, where I've seen demonstrations of him doing contrast levels strictly in the dark. We will not do contrast levels in fully lit environments and fear that the screen is going to completely wash out. When displaying fully lit environments, we'll stick to bright, beautiful colors because these are things that are going to fade less. Now, we're going to have our own product up here just to show you that no, in no way whatsoever is our product going to be able to stack up against this technology, and neither will his. But at least in our demonstrations, when we displayed our white screens, our gray screens, we showed you everything. We showed you contrast, we showed you color, No lights were turned out in the demonstration displaying the 3.0. We swapped out projectors. We did just about everything, so you can see right from the door how everything's going to come up. Not hiding things in the dark, which we don't do here either. All right, so behind the screen, as you can see, we got some big open windows over here. I got my projectors over there. We got the Nova Black over here, painted to my wall. That's directly onto the wall. For those who've been asking us, what can you paint it to? Well, just about anything you can think of. Right there. First things first, we're going to bring up the color white. White screen. And this is the first thing we display is a white screen. I got a line right here. I need to fix right there on my screen. It's easy, just go right over top of it with a roller and I'm done pretty much. All right. So let's come over here. That's me, that's my mistake doing that. Should have did a better job painting my screen. Anyway, I'll just roll right over top of it and fix it. All right, so we're going to take the Metallica Mix 2.0. We're going to take and this will show y'all from the door that I don't want customers buying the 3.0 and thinking because of this person told you that, oh no, any gray screen is going to be to do this. No, it's not. I'm going to show you, no, it's not. It's not going to do that. The 3.0 has limitations. So just because this person tells you and does these demonstrations in the dark and he's doing these smoke and mirror demonstrations, no gray screen will ever have the capability of matching a darker screen. Not going to happen. Not even our own. Doesn't have that capability. I guarantee you tomorrow, if we did a demonstration on the 3.0 and we asked them to match the demonstration from demonstration demo, we can do a demonstration on number contrast levels on that screen, you won't do it. Because then he would have to admit that his product doesn't work in a fully lit environment on contrast. You can't make people believe that. I don't know how anybody's not picking that one up. I really don't. I don't know how anybody's not picking up that he turns the lights out. This is our product. And for those of you who gripe and complain about, oh, how big his sample sheet is, look at the size of mine. We go over and beyond when we do demonstrations. We don't pick little tiny sample sheets. We got the biggest one for ours. Biggest sample sheet is ours, right there. So we have no complaints from the naysayers. They get upset because the sample sheet was too small. And his sample sheets are huge, considered to the size of the sample sheets that you get from official. This is how size an official one is. Now, he did a demonstration against the Darkstar 9, claiming that he was equal to it. No, he was not. You see how dark this screen is? You see how light his product is? When he did the demonstration against the Darkstar 9, he chose colorful images only. And he had the projector, number one, too close to the screen. Should have been sitting at a distance, number one. And you should have ran it through the grinder, which means you ran it through contrast levels, which he did not produce because if he produced the contrast level, the Darkstar 9 would have produced a better image. It's a contrast screen this was designed for. But you lied on that one. Let me go over here and get my remote control. Now, as I said before, any gray screen, including our own, is going to pull up a higher white level than a black screen. Here to the sides, you can see. All right. Remember, in his videos, he claims that the technology we develop is so dark you can't see the screen. It's virtually impossible. You can't watch the screen. The screen is completely unwatchable. All right, so let's go over to colors now. Let's pull up blue. Just like I told you, they can't see color. They can't see color because they don't have any contrast. Even our own technology, which like I said, is more advanced than his product. As you can see, it's pulling up a much better blue level than his two products side by side. But as you can see, next to the darker technology, doesn't really stack up. We got our own product we're doing this demonstration also. All right, let's go switch over to red. There you go. There's red right there. And we're not up here expecting for our product to be equal to a black screen. Like I said, that's virtually impossible. We can't do that. There is no way in the world our product, which was able to outperform his product, is going to be equal to a black screen. That would be the dumbest demonstration I would have ever done in my entire life, to try to convince my customers that a darker technology is going, or lighter technology, a gray technology is going to be able to produce the same thing as a black screen. Like I said, I expect the white levels to drop. Anytime we go against a light gray screen, and keep in mind, in my kitchen drawer, I have a bunch of certified screens in there. I have to do demonstration screens. We don't pick out certain select screens that are going to look good in front of the Nova. We can't do that. We have to choose all of them, whether they be light gray, whether it be mid gray or medium gray, whether they be dark. It doesn't make a difference. It has to go against the screen. Bring this back a little bit. You can see it doesn't pull the contrast. Let's go back to slow changing colors. I keep forgetting that the Chrissy's heat blows out to the front instead of the side. So we're in slow changing color pattern right here, just to show you that the slow color changing pattern, that not even our own product is going to stack up against a black screen. So as I said before, that someone trying to convince you that their technology or their product, say their paint has the ability to be able to match the color level on a darker screen, that is a complete lie. As I'm showing you right here. Mind you, as I said before, our product beat its product. We're able to produce better contrast and color versus this screen. But to come on here and tell you that it's going to be equal to a black screen, no. To do demonstrations of contrast levels strictly in the dark, that's basically falsifying a demonstration. Show you no color patterns. People show you the color patterns of their screens versus their own. We do our screens versus high-end screens. It's the best way to go about it. All right, we did a color pattern. Let's go over to there you go. To say that a black screen is going to produce an image. Now, like I said, white levels, that's basic common sense that white levels are going to drop when you're dealing with darker screens. They're going to drop. But to say that they're going to be so dark you can't see the screen, that's a lie. That's a huge lie right there. To say that gray screen is going to produce the same color as a black screen, that's a huge lie. If the black screen didn't have the ability, and it came up too dark, there's no way in the world the color levels would be that high. Virtually impossible. Panasonic 4K demonstrations. Keep the lights out, so then I'll get complaints about people saying, well, the lights ain't out. Well, the fact that I have to turn the lights out shows you where you have to be at with your screen paint. We don't have to worry about that. right there. And mind you, this is our product right here in the center. That's our gray screen paint. So I know he's going to probably try to come in and say, oh, but look how light my... That's our product too, right there in the center. And our product beat your screen easily. But next to black technology, no. It's not going to produce the colors right, and neither will yours. So when people trade off for darker screens, it's because they want fair. They're okay with the white levels, and they're good with that. But they want darker contrast and want colors to pop higher. They definitely want that contrast level. That's what they want. That's what they want. They want that contrast level. So whether you go with when you go with a lighter screen, you have to understand you're going to be sacrificing color, you're going to be sacrificing contrast, but you're going to achieve on white levels. When you go in your darker screens, that means you're going to be losing a little white levels, but you're going to be picking up on higher contrast levels and much more deeper, richer colors. Are going to pop better. That's why people have to stop making false statements about saying, hey, look, darker screens don't show up. No, that's a lie. They do show. Doing demonstrations in the dark by producing contrast levels, that's misleading. This is our product right there. And it does not have the ability, even though it beats your product with no problem whatsoever, it doesn't have the ability to be able to stack up against a black screen. Now, since you want to go in the whole, well, black screen's this and that, your UV mix can't stack up to this screen. And that's ours. That's our 3.0. If I put your UV mix against a 3.0 and you want to concentrate on white levels, your screen would turn black all day. But to say that a black screen can't produce an image at all and unwatchable, oh, complete lie. LG Betafish. No gray screen, and I'll tell you right from the door. For people who've been lying to you, no gray screen will ever have the capability of producing a contrast level. I'm talking about these light gray screens you're seeing right now. Will not have the capability to produce, sorry about that, proper color. And it will not have the capability to be able to produce contrast levels. They can't see it. They don't have the capability. The difference between his demonstration and our demonstrations, especially with the gray screens, we're in fully lit environments when we display contrast levels. Somewhat lights off. These screen paints should be no higher than 50 bucks. Because like I said, they were making this stuff 8 years ago. The price of what the individual is charging for it is too expensive. especially for a screen that's gray. See how the red levels pulled up on that black screen? See how deep they are? Now see when they hit these screens, they automatically wash out. Panasonic 4K demonstration. Which is working much better today because we have the, we're right over here where the hub's at. And for those who want to sit there and say, well, the screen is brighter, no duh, it's supposed to be. Again, gray screens have higher white levels. They just can't pull contrast, and they can't pull color. Also too, ambient light rejection technology works somewhat with them. And ambient light rejection technology works much better with a darker screen. Let's go back there a little bit. Oh, come on. It's being mean today. Now, you see here in the demonstration, even though our technology, like I said, is never going to match a black screen. It was able to, in this clip right here, which I did over and over again, with his gray screen paint versus the 3.0, we were able to pull up a darker contrast level. As you see right here, our contrast level is slightly darker, right? And that's going to be as dark as the black screen. As you can see, the black screen is going to pull the 1% contrast level. But as you can see right here, it's darker than his product here and here. His product off in here. And put it right there. And you'll see that our product is able to pull a better contrast level than his product right here. See? But yet next to the black screen, oh, black screen would crush this, no problem whatsoever. Even though our product can produce a much better contrast level at a gray screen, no way whatsoever will ever be to compete against the black screen. Virtually impossible. It's like saying that a gray screen and black screen has the ability to outperform a white screen. That's not impossible. That's virtually impossible. Only white screens can produce 100% white levels. Now, I don't want to, I'm not, by doing this demonstration, this helps me, so you can see people that I'm not misleading my customers. We developed dark technology. There is no way in the world I am ever going to come up here and tell you that our gray screen paint 3.0 throwback, which was able to outperform his product, it's going to come out here and be equal to the contrast levels of a black screen. We're going to produce a color better than the black screen. That's a lie. That, now mind you, white levels, yes, but color and contrast, no. See on the pot right there? You see how deep the contrast level comes out on our 3.0 throwback compared to his products right here. And this is a Metallica mix and personal mix side by side. You see how dark, see how light they come out? Our product right there, like I said, produces a better contrast 3.0 throwback. We're going to call that for short, it's easier to say. throwback 3.0. Throwback 3.0 is able to produce a darker contrast level than both of his products here and there. The black screen, as you can see, produces the 100% contrast level right there. Up close so you can see. See? Produces a much darker contrast level. Contrast level there is faded. And the black level we have on our technology produces a much better contrast level right there. But I'm never going to tell you that this screen is going to be equal to our black screen. No. That's not, that's false. That'd be false information. And that's why you see in these demonstrations, under this individual, constantly does these demonstrations in the dark, because that's the only way the screen's going to be able to produce a somewhat decent image. But to say that it's equal to a black screen, no, that's not going to happen. Let's see if we can find the do a color demonstration. And meanwhile, remember, the black screen is supposed to be so dark you can't see it. Color what? Because these lighter screens can't see color. If you want more color pop, you don't want to stare and calibrate your projector all day. That's why the darker screens are the more advanced screens. That's why. The darker screens are the more advanced screens because they can produce color and contrast levels and still maintain a white level. If the white levels weren't maintained, you wouldn't be to see this at all, period. All that'll be gone. This would be the brighter screen. They don't have the ability to see color next to a darker screen. A darker screen is going to be far more superior. And this is a good demonstration to have because this basically allows my customers to see that when they see the $48 screen paint, they know exactly what they're buying. It's not going to be a product where someone's going to say, hey, look, produces contrast levels next to black screens, equal to dark technology, that's what it is. It produces the same thing, it's a better product. No, that is a complete lie. It is a mid-level class screen, which means, bottom line, it's not a top screen. The top screens, like I said, are darker. And as you're seeing in the demonstration with even our own product and both his products, they basically share the same, similar, in some ways, effects when dealing with darker screens. But, like I said, people will lie, won't tell you that. They're not going to be honest and show you the real demonstrations. They're going to cut corners as much as they possibly can. And you need to see what you're getting. This is why when you look at the specifications under the Throwback 3.0, there's a lot of stuff missing from it. It can't do certain things that the darker screens can do. You cannot take these outside. They're not going to do well outside. They have, or even though our technology does produce amazing images, it cannot compete with a darker screen. Neither can these products. The Metallica Mix and Personal Mix can't compete with it. And if the screen is lighter, it's going to have far more problems. Like I said, skin tones and white levels are going to be higher. I said that in many of my demonstrations. I don't hide anything from my customers. Now, if you feel that the Nova is a too dark of a screen for you, then that's why we have the gunmetals, because gunmetals produce higher white levels than the Novas. Contrast is going to be heavier on the black Nova because it's a black screen, where the white levels are going to be a tad lower. The gunmetals produce higher white levels, and the contrast levels are going to be a bit low. It's a back and forth take. There's no such thing as a gray screen out there that's going to tell you that it's going to produce contrast levels equal to a black screen and white levels just as high as a white screen. That's the biggest lie on the face of the planet. And as you can see right here, screen's suffering. Let's go back here for a minute, because like I said, I like to pinpoint these certain areas in here so you can see for yourself. Now see where the hand is at? Let's go back a little bit more there. I see red levels are not coming up, as I said before. You're not going to be able to see color, you're not going to be able to see contrast. Now, when it comes to white levels, as you can see, it's going to be brighter on our technology. This is our technology right here. Of course, because it produces a higher white level, as you can see. That's nothing new. When this particular individual kept zooming in on that, saying, look how much brighter my white level comes up compared to his product, how dark it is. You can't even barely see it. I can see that crystal clear from here. And this is our technology right here, our Throwback 3.0, that beat both of your screens. But look at that. Now, like I said before, it has to be a trade-off somewhere. So this is going to be to produce a higher white level, where the contrast levels are going to suffer and color is going to suffer. This one, the darker screen, the white levels are going to be a tad lower right there, but nothing, like I said, too dark that you can't see the screen, because you wouldn't be able to see any of this whatsoever, period. None of that would come up at all. But as you can see, it's faded on both these screens at the same time and faded here and here on our screen. But that's just a basic getting. For someone to try to indulge on that and try to basically magnify that by saying, oh, that's why you don't buy. No, he doesn't understand how products work and how the color exchange works when it comes to screen paints. He doesn't understand it at all. Same thing like we have here. Again, where our screen couldn't pull the higher white level, here we have contrast and color. Can't pull contrast, can't pull contrast, can't see color, can't see contrast, as you can see right here and here. But our red levels, as you can see, even on a 3.0, is coming up better than his product here. Even though our screen's not going to be able to be equal to the technology, the darker technology, it does pull up a better image than his product. A little closer on that, you can see that our red levels on our screen are richer than his are over here, are faded and washed out. Now, even with our own Throwback 3.0, like I said, it's not going to be to see the contrast. It's not going to be to see the color like a black screen, but it's going to produce a better image than his gray screens. See the contrast level here? Look at the contrast level there. Look at the red here. Look at the red there. And this screen right here didn't pick up anything at all. So we know that from the door. It's a trade-off. Anybody who develops screens know that dark or gray screens or even white screens know that there's going to be a trade-off there. Where one screen is going to be darker, it's going to produce a contrast, or another screen is going to be lighter, it is going to lose contrast. It has to be a trade-off in there. There's no such thing as one screen that's going to do it all. And by him coming on here and doing the demonstration, showing that a dark environment, showing contrast levels, never showing you contrast levels in fully lit environments, never showing you contrast levels against other black screens, real black screens, with contrast demonstrations, not pretty colors. Smoke screened all his demonstrations. And we can go through all of them. They're all dark. This is how it should be. This is how it should look. You do proper demonstrations. Now, these products are by a fellow by the name of Jamie Fernando, which goes by the name of Pro 1176. This is his personal mix. That is Metallica mix. The screen paint we have in the middle, which is a Throwback 3.0. Let's go back here a minute. On that again. Because you gotta be thorough about your demonstrations. You can't just blow to the demonstration. You have to break it down. Now you can see how the screens are not picking up the colors all that well next to the black technology. If you look here, I'm going to pause here on the hand. All right. Like I said, this is our technology right here. It's always got lighter screens are always going to produce a higher white level. So that's nothing new right there. You know, he'll point this out and say, look how dark the image is coming up. You can barely see it. You can't see it at all. We can see it perfectly clear. If you couldn't see it, you wouldn't be able to see any of the blue, her fingernails, none of that wouldn't be there at all, period, all. But as we can see that you're not picking up blue at all, period. No blue is being picked up. Now, in the demonstrations, I guess when he mixes whatever product in his containers, and he does some fake demonstrations mixing products that are not so, he makes them so dark that not even the levels that our technology can pick up, it looks like it can't pick up. Oh, let's go back again. Now, right here on the woman's face, as I told you before, this, yes, it's going to pick up a much brighter level because like I said, it's a lighter screen. That's what it's supposed to do, pick up higher white levels. But when it gets to the green levels right here, greens are faded. Greens are faded here, greens are faded here. Can't pick up color. It's going to pick up a higher white level. It just can't see color and can't see contrast. And this involves both screens. Actually, all three screens. But our screen, like I said, picks up a better contrast and a little better color. Here we are at the blue levels. As you can see, blue levels are better here. They're not so good there. But as you can see, the black technology is producing the better blues, the better reds, and the better yellows because it can see color. Contrast levels are missing here, here, and here. Like I said, there is no way in the world the technology we developed that was able to outperform both his screens, it's going to be to outperform this black screen. Not going to happen. I'm not going to sell you something or try to do a demonstration that's not true. Gotta be honest with your customers. You can't do fake demonstrations and hide things in the dark all the time. Don't constantly doing demonstrations in the dark. It's not good. Here we are with the contrast levels. Let's go back on that a minute. Let's go back on that a minute on the contrast levels. Now look at this right here. I told you our screens pull up a better contrast level, a better contrast level than his product. See the contrast level here? We can see the detail in the horse. This is the 3.0 right there. Look at his contrast level here and here. Not even there. This is all he's picking up. Now look at the our technology. Over here, look at the other screen. Barely being able to pick anything up. This is our 3.0, our throwback 3.0. Excuse me. That's a demonstration I did downstairs, displaying that our product, even a throwback 3.0, is able to pick up a better contrast level than his products. Yeah, that's the difference between our technology, our 3.0 throwback at $48 versus $75 screen paint, $75 screen paint. And then this one will cost you $23.70 for shipping, $23.70 for shipping, Shipping is free. And we're able to produce a better contrast level. So when I told you that our product produces a better contrast level, even our 3.0 produces a better contrast level than a screen paint, I wasn't joking. There you go. Showed you that demonstration yesterday. This product can't see contrast, but our 3.0 throwback can see contrast. See the individual hairs on the horse? Look at it over here, washed out. This screen didn't even pick up anything at all. We'll bring this up a little higher up. Didn't pick up anything at all. Now look at it next to our black technology. Black technology is going to be to produce a 100% contrast level. That's the difference between this one and this one. Like I said, I'm not going to come on here and convince you that that gray screen that we developed that produces a much higher contrast level than his product is going to be equal to a black screen. That's impossible. It's definitely impossible. Red levels are not going to pop up. See our contrast levels coming up way better than his, but still not equal to our black screens. There's the red levels, not popping up. Let's go over to 4K demonstrations. Let's see if these products can turn the screen so black that you can't see it, because that's what's displayed. Let's see if our technology can turn my screen black that you can't even see it. And mind you, my product is better than his. So let's see. Nope. Not even the technology 3.0 that we developed cannot turn the screen black that you can't see it. And it's better than his products. This is what happens when you lie in your demonstrations, when you're not truthful and you're misleading to your customers and your demonstrations. Clean screens with over black substance so they don't show up. Now, like I said, we got our 3.0 throwback, and our 3.0 throwback can blend into your screen and produce a contrast level and colors better than your screen. So how is it possible that we have this technology sitting against our screen and our screen's not so dark you can't see it? This is why you have to be careful about people who falsify their demonstrations. They're not going to be truthful. But as you can see, that these the darker screens are going to produce contrast, better color, and so forth. White levels, like I said, are going to be slightly higher than on the other screens, but like I said, you are going to lose contrast, you're going to lose color. Like I said, now the darker screen's not for you. That's why we have gunmetal. We have another screen called, I think it's called black gold. I think it's called black gold. I think it's a black gold screen. They produce high white levels. So some people want the heavier contrast levels. Some people want the higher white levels. That's where the that's where gunmetals come in, and that's where the black golds come in. Other than that, this product, like I said, 8 years ago, this is an 8-year-old product. We added a little more enhancements to it, but that screen right there produces a better contrast than this, and this, with no problem. But equal to this we have here, no. Oh, I told you, it wouldn't be able to stand a chance against the screen. Even with the technology to 3.0, as you can see, it's not turning our screen so dark you can't see it. So you gotta stop doing these fake demonstrations. You're gonna be outed for this stuff. Look at the contrast on the 3.0. And like I said, neither one of them are gonna compete with the black screen. That's what makes, this is what's a big concern about his products. That he's misleading people and telling them that they're gonna be able to produce the same as a black screen. No. You get higher white levels than a black screen. Yeah, that you will get. But you're not going to produce contrast and better color than a black screen. Not going to happen. Sony 4K demonstration. Let's see here. This is a pretty bright demonstration. Let's see if my product and these two products by Pro can basically turn the screen so dark you can't see it. Let's see if our own technology can turn the screen so dark you can't see it. Because you're supposed to be getting this black spot in front of the screen. Remember, as he showed in his demonstration, this really dark image that you can't see the screen at all. And that's our technology right there. So let's see. If the screen becomes so dark, you can't recognize it. Now, see something interesting there? Hold on for a minute. I saw something really interesting back there on the bike. You see the contrast levels right here, and between the contrast levels here, contrast levels are not even picking up at all, period. Look how they're coming up. Look at the contrast levels here on the tire here. Look at the contrast levels here. Not even picking up. Nothing is picking up at all. No contrast is picking up. I say your screen paint can't see contrast. And this is the gray screen paint and it can't see contrast. But let's move on. Let's see if we can get the screen so dark we can't see it. Unrecognizable. Even with our technology laying against the screen. Let's see if it's possible. Remember, we're looking for the screen being so dark that you can't see it. And this is with our own technology laying against it. Let's go to an angle gain and see if that's possible. See if anywhere in here we can get this screen to come up dark, but you can't see it at all. And this is where he lies in this demonstration. Look at this. Moving around the environment. And I can still see that black screen with no problem whatsoever. So how is that possible? How is it possible that the technology, the black screens we develop, are producing a high enough white level that you could see them and are not going so dark you can't recognize the screen? And this is with his product and our product laying against a black screen. See? People who lie, they get outed. Let's go back over to color red, screen. Told you. That's why people choose darker screens. They can actually see color. But like I said, even with your UV mix, the problem you have with that is the fact that that product is literally so dark. There's no white levels in that whatsoever. It doesn't pick up color right. It doesn't pick up white levels right. It just doesn't pick up. It picks up contrast, yeah. It doesn't pick up color too well. It doesn't pick up white levels too well. it comes up darker versus our products. And like I said, if the technology was so dark, you wouldn't be able to see the colors. They wouldn't pop up. I can't wait to do the magenta. The magenta screen. Whew, man. Magenta's berserk. That's a berserk screen. I'm going to do that in the next video. I want to see what that looks like. I want to see, like I said, they're not going to stack up. That's why we charge $48 for it. It's not going to stack up against our products. No way whatsoever. They can't see color. See color a lot better than his screen, but still can't see color. All right, we're done with this one. And it just shows you right there. And if you know anything about products, and let me explain something to you again. Well, let me see something real quick. We got these right here. Let's take this right here. This is an Acoustic Pro 1080p 3, and this one has I like this one because I love the screen because there's a 0.9 gain. I'm going to put that one right here over top, the 0.9 gain, and we're going, before we leave out of here, let's go to because I'm going to see if we can darken the screen. Let's go to LG snowboarding demonstration. Let's see if we can get the screen to go so dark you can't see it. And we have a 0.9 white screen laying against our screen right here. So let's see if we can make the screen so dark it's unwatchable. You can't see it. Now, you'll have some people argue and say, well, maybe it's because your projector is brighter. If my projector's levels were really high, that means the screens that are lighter than my screen would produce a much higher white level. Even higher. So now that has nothing to do with the settings of my projector, because if my white levels were all the way up on my projector brightness, these screens would actually be brighter than the darker screen, because they actually produce higher white levels. People don't think when they talk. Gotta think when you talk. Been in this business for over 12 years. I know things about this technology that a lot of people don't understand. All right, as far as this, I'm going to take these out right now, because I'm going to put this against the magenta. I wasn't going to do the magenta today, I was going to wait till tomorrow, but I'm curious now. Well, I know this is not going to compete against the magenta. I know that, not at all, period. Magenta's a very powerful screen. Mine, these are 17s, magenta's only a 15. Magentas are only 15s. That's it. This is a 17. The magenta, this is more powerful than the magenta. Let's go over to search. Let's go over to. We need to take that out altogether. Clear that out, and we'll put in Oh, and I'll show you my settings on my projector real quick. How high my brightness was at. This is the brightness on my projector. It was only at 21. Contrast was at 18. Tint was at 11. Sharpness, that's it. My projector was at 21. Those Christies go up to 90 when it comes to brightness. My angle gain. Oh, and by the way, my screen is next to an open window the entire time. Like I said, white levels are going to be a tad low, but it's nothing that's going to disrupt your pitch quality to the point where you can't see the screen. If that was the case, nowhere in the world you would ever be to see that bright yellow supercar. You wouldn't be to see it. The screen would be too dark in order for you to see that supercar. All right, so let's go to the magenta setup. Now, keep in mind, when you buy a projection screen, you start off with, let me see if I can find the rest of my samples. Okay. Anytime you buy a white projection screen, or start buying projection screens, just hold over here for a minute. We're about to switch up on the other screen, which we're going to do in the next video. And that's with light coming in and making contact with the screen and overhead. Like I said, if it's too dark, you wouldn't see that at all, period. Let's come over here real quick. I'm going to go back to that real quick. Nowhere in the world you need to pick that up. Now, we're going to be coming over to this one in the next video. This is the purple screen. As you can see, it is purple. That is our magenta, our dark royal magenta. Now, usually when you buy projection screens, we have quite a bit of samples by Elite Screens. You will start off with white screen. Let's move it to white screens. This is the more, those are the cheaper ones. Their performance is, well, I wouldn't say okay, but it's something. Then some people go with a little darker screen, which looks like these screens right here. Doesn't match our technology, but it does. The more gray screen, it's around $800. Mind you, that was the high-end screen, and this was a screen that pretty much was used and supposed to be a professional. It is professional, but just say where he was saying that the gray screens produce better than the darker screens, and how come this one doesn't cost as much as a darker screen? Then you get into a little darker gray. You get into a Cinema Gray 5D, which is slightly a little darker. Get that up there right there. And then you get into the Dark Star Night, which is the much darker screen right here and here and here. As you can see, this one right here would cost you around $3,000. This is the darker screen, the better technology out of all of these. So for someone to try to convince you that this lighter gray screen paint is advanced technology, that's a lie. That's an older screen paint. All right, so I'm gonna come out of here. We're gonna go back here and shoot another video for the magenta because I want to see how that's gonna look. And this is showing you how the screen paints, including our own, will stack up against darker technology. As you see before, the darker technology is just gonna be a much more advanced and better screen whatsoever all the way around. That these lighter gray screen paints can't compete with darker gray screens, and this is why the darker gray screens or gunmetal screens cost more. They cost $5,000, they cost $6,000 screens. You're not going to find a gray screen such like this costing $5,000. That's not going to cost you $5,000. That's going to cost you about $800-900. That's it. Even this screen right here, which is a little darker, $1,500-1,600. That's not going to cost you $3,000. That's going to cost you $3,000 to $5,000. This is what this is going to cost you, the darker screens. So if you look at even Elite screens, how their screens are categorized, the darker screens are the advanced ones and the most expensive ones. Not these, not these. This one is the most expensive one. Can't go into a store and buy these. You can't go into Amazon and buy this one. No, you got to go to a select dealership to get one of these. Or if you can find somebody on eBay that's selling one, you can get one from them. But no, the darker screens cost you more money. If anyone's trying to tell you that this screen right here, and even they will tell you, see this light gray screen, looks much like his product. There's no way in the world that guy's going to tell you that, oh, this screen is equal to this screen or this screen is better than this screen. No. This screen's white levels are going to drop a little lower than this one and this one, but it's going to be to produce better contrast and better color, and it can take in more ambient light. That's why this is a $3,000 projection screen. But like I said, people on YouTube will try to convince you that the lighter gray screen can do the same thing as a dark gray screen. If that was the case, then you wouldn't have to buy this. You just have to buy this. That's all you would need, right? Okay then. All right. Even people in the home theater world that design screens every day know the difference between which ones are the most advanced screens. We're going to be doing this in the next demonstration. I'll be back on in about a few. All right, got to go, and God bless.